Hello, REBBL people.
Hoy hoy.
This is our REL 6 and REL 7 div review for week 10. This is week 10.
Dun dun.
It's exciting. We're getting there. Getting close to the exciting season that is playoffs. As always, we're Steakmittens and Shadorra. And we're going to be doing replay reviews this week. We're going to take a look at 2 teams, or 4 teams, I guess. But 2 games, one from REL 7, one from REL 6, and we're starting to we're going to be looking at ones that are probably more playoff relevant, rather than specifically trying to find people we haven't watched before, because we don't really have that many left, and we need to start paying attention to who from which divisions are going to go into the playoffs. So. In the spirit of that segue, let's go to let's jump into our REL 7 game, shall we?
Yeah, sure.
Now we are small. And as you can probably see, we have Rock Lobstrosity and Tommy Too Tall. So it's the Crawdad Zydeco experience and the Rotting Snatches. Tommy Too Tall is one of my picks to make it to the playoffs, and he was near the top of the table, so we're at the point where he needs to start winning games, or keep winning games. I mean, I shouldn't say start, but I should say he's only lost one. So he needs to keep winning games, and we also haven't watched this human team yet, so it's sort of a double whammy. Boom.
Are we watching it from the human's perspective?
Sure, why not? So are you ready to go and watch this first match?
Yeah, bruv.
Before we get going, I would like to point out that there was a Knuffles altar in play, and presumably because of that, we have the mighty Zug on the human team, which is kind of cool. It's not an inducement you see all the time.
It's not indeed. Are we watching? We're watching from humans.
Yep.
And
3,
you ready to
2,
go?
1, play. Yeah, so we've got basically 2 ogres on the human teams, because the mighty Zug is just an ogre with block mighty blow and no bonehead or thick skull. I mean, he's not really an ogre, but his stat line is the same, I guess.
He's actually slower. He's movement 4 compared to movement 5, but otherwise he is identical.
Well, he doesn't have like thick skull or bonehead or throw teammate, but his stat
No thick skull. Worst play.
Generally, he's just not an ogre at all, but he's strength 5, I guess, which is the big thing.
Yeah, on that, there's a page that basically calculates how expensive a star player is relative to how they would be, just if you purchased that player, or like the TV value of that player to be built in game. And the things they had to do to make Mighty Zug make sense were really funny, because he's not really built off of any baseline character. So.
No, he's not. He's just kind of strange. He's like sort of an ogre, but not really. The Nurgle have the fame, or the fan factor, or whatever you want to call it, the +1. So that may come into play. And we are kicking to the Nurgle first, so with all this mighty blow...
exposing a guard blitzer. I don't know how much I like that. You only need to expose 3 players if you do rule of 5, which I like versus Nurgle. And he could have the AV9 Thick Skull Ogre in there, which would make it a lot harder for the Riot to start.
Slightly annoying for the Nurgle, but it shouldn't be the worst. Like, they still have a ton of time, and they want to stall as long as they can anyway, but it's one less turn to punch things. Depends on how well the first half goes. Because they do want to try to... Their goal for this half is to kill as many humans as possible to make their defensive drive as easy as possible.
Start with a nice 3-die, and coming in here with a Claw Mighty Blow, piling on hit on a lineman.
Oh, we get the armor break. And it's a KO.
He's KO'd. I mean, LOS blocks versus Claw, you expect to take some damage.
Yeah.
I mean, admittedly, it was
worse.
only 1 Claw hit, so maybe not that much.
Yeah.
But...
Targeting the guard guy, understandable. I mean, the guard is really big in this matchup, so he's a giant target. And
KO'd.
Bonk. I mean, this is sort of how we expected it to go, honestly, but this is what the Nurgle need to do to humans in order to win. I mean, if they're on offense first, their whole game plan is to score on turn 8 and to remove as many humans as humanly possible. Nurgle-y possible? Whatever. 3-die from the beast.
So lots of 3-dies, lots of really good LOS block hits for the Nurgle.
Yeah, doing well to like maximize those.
Again, this is a bit of a punish for not doing a rule of 3 setup so that you didn't have your backline protected.
Are we fouling him? Nope, we're just surrounding him.
We don't have a Rodder.
I mean, the Rodder could have done it, but he just elected not to.
True. He's running with the... Oh, he's doing a Vanity Pass to level up this guy, which he did.
Gangrene Gorgeous George picks up the level, and then we give it to the ball carrier, the Agi Sure Hands piece, to carry it to actually ball carry.
Yep. Humans now
I'm so
gonna
jealous
do what
of that.
humans do best.
I tried
this movement.
3 times in one game to get 1 SPP on a guy with a vanity pass, and I failed 3 vanity passes straight, and he can just do it on his first try. It's very annoying.
We're gonna get a chain push hit on the to free up this lineman. Oh, and Mighty Blow does a thing.
Evening up the numbers.
Getting a KO. And it's on the DP player, a huge KO.
Yeah, that's surprisingly important. Like, he was set up to just DP the crap out of that. That sounds really bad. That downed lineman, but this way he's not going to be able to because the DP is out, and it partially frees up the human. He can't. He still has to dodge out.
Basing. Why is he basing up?
You are
a Nurgle warrior.
You are ahead. I assumed you pressed skip.
I didn't.
Oh, okay.
I'll pause though. How
it's
much
fine.
ahead am I?
Not much.
Let me know when you.
Lineman just stood up, failed dodge.
Yeah, this is just giving away a free hit on a good piece. Armor 8 does fail.
Yep, he is pressuring the Pestigors, though, and, like, Nurgle are not really want to dodge away, and they're not speedy either, so if he can tie them up, he can probably get a pretty easy hit on the ball, I think, which might be his goal here.
Well, we're going to get a good Claw Mighty Blow hit on the Blitzer, the Killer Blitzer, and he does go down. This is a bit scary.
Once again, you're ahead.
I am skipping literally nothing. I don't understand.
Armor break just happened.
The KO, and he piles
KO.
on the KO.
That's a surprising choice.
And he's still a KO, so not punished.
No, you really, like, I mean, the removal, I guess you really want him out for sure, because he's the biggest threat to your team, but going down in numbers as Nurgle is terrible. That's not a cage, because that beast is really stupid.
That's a really stupid beast, and you do not... Oh, you do have you can finish it up with a Rodder. You're fine. Oh, no, you can't. He's on the...
He's on the ogre.
He's on the ogre. This is not a cage.
You can use the broken bullet tooth Tony to sort of make it a cage. It's a better cage now.
Is indeed. Ogre trips up a Rodder to end the turn. You don't re-roll that.
No.
He did pile on, though, and
which is interesting.
Humans are not opposed to fouling, though they are already down players, so they might be resistant to it. Though they
he has a bench.
So might be willing to... He does have a bench, and you're not too sad, really, to...
I think I would foul that if I got the opportunity to. He doesn't have a good player to do it, though. He's going to have to foul with the guard guy currently, and that's just not good. But now we're going to be able to flood the cage with Strength 5, which will be surprisingly annoying to deal with. Because one of them is... They're both block, and one of them is guard, and it's 2 Strength 5 that are going to be hard to get off the ball. He's not moving the ogre.
I thought I would have moved that ogre, yeah. Risking the bonehead is important, because right now he's just sitting on the killer and not really accomplishing much.
Yeah, he could have... Orion Granule is dead. Onion Granule.
That's why you don't base up Claw Mighty Blow.
Although...
Rot means a free Rodder.
Yeah, the ball carrier is... Well, at the end of the game, he doesn't get it now. Yeah. Ball carrier is Agi 4, so he could have just dodged backwards anyway, regardless of how many players you put on him. So it wasn't... Like, putting another one didn't help a ton, but...
Oh, greed reroll from the 1-in-9-able player. That was risky. Your ball's exposed right now.
Yeah, and he has a couple players that if you activate the beast, it's not the worst. Yes,
but he didn't before he made the 1-in-9 block. So
that is true.
That was the risk.
So where are you putting this ball? Well, knocking over that blitzer means that you're pretty safe no matter where you go because he just doesn't have anybody on the floor.
Human armor not holding up.
No.
A lot of naked breaks.
Oh, they're all KOs so far. Well, minus the one death.
Yeah, that's not all I know, though.
Yeah, the humans are just getting, like, removed.
Hey, look, one of your best blitzers is now completely marginalized because you based up this Nurgle warrior. This is why you don't base up Nurgle warrior.
Good thing he's
blocked.
blocked.
Would have done this with Zug, but I guess it doesn't really make a difference. I know, because it's bonehead, yeah. It doesn't make a difference.
Zug had to stand up. Oh, right, but he could have just blitzed anyway. This will make the the blitzer not surfed, but we're doing nothing to the ball, and we're just giving away Mighty Blow claw hits at this point, and their humans are just going to keep taking casualties. So
yeah, I mean, the humans are definitely...
at a disadvantage currently?
Well, they're at a disadvantage, and it's definitely being exacerbated by bad injury and armor rolls, but they are giving away a lot of blocks that they don't need to give away, and they are kind of not maximum. Ooh, that was a quad skull.
Quad skull. Although I was about to say this game is going basically exactly how the Nurgle wanted it to, and then you get a quad skull. At least the ball is still
Didn't
pretty
really
safe.
matter though. Yeah, the ball's fairly safe.
You could blitz with the. Oh no, that beast is guard.
Ooh, he's gonna hit the plus strength Nurgle warrior though.
Sending him down.
Break. That's scary.
Yeah, this isn't doing much to prevent the Nurgle's forward progress. What you need to do now, basically, is try not to take any more permanent damage, because the Nurgle are just... There's very little you can do to stop the Nurgle from scoring with 5 players out. And you just need to not make it worse for the next half, because those are all KOs. And you have a bench, they'll come back and you'll be at full strength, but with only a few players on the field, it's going to be very easy for the Nurgle to remove more of your players, and then it gets bad.
Mr. Ogre is about to get punched in the face.
Oh, absolutely. By the Claw Mighty Blow, dude. 100%.
Oh, though, another naked break, another KO.
This is why...
that was a naked break on AV9.
Yeah.
Like, admittedly, Rock Lobstrosity is on the receiving end of a bit of a armor injury dicing right now, but not helped by his decisions currently.
No, I think once you lost like the 4th player, it becomes like save players mode rather than try to defend against the ball mode, so that you have a good chance in half number 2. But right now, you're just going to get a bunch of extra hits taken, more likely to have more players removed, less likely to have a full team for half 2, so less likely to be able to score on your own.
That Nurgle warrior is technically surfable if you do a red die into a 1 die. Oh wow, he was going for a Nurgle warrior handoff. That's brave.
The Nurgle warrior? Which Nurgle warrior is surfable?
The one on the frenzy. You would need
I see.
commit. You would need to do a tentacle dodge on top of a billion other things.
Yeah, Nurgle feeling confident enough to try to hand off to the warriors at this point.
Did not work out though.
Nope. But the humans can't really do much about it.
Yeah, they failed that tentacle. They made that dodge.
They can dodge out some humans and just try to get them on the ball, which would be kind of annoying for the Nurgle to deal with.
In general, making it hard for the Nurgle to pick up the ball is a great way to stop them from scoring, though these ones have Agi for short hands. So.
Yeah, I think you have to reroll that, because right now all the Nurgle have to do is punch one dude out of the way with a 2 die, and then it's a 2+ pickup, so it's not really
Let me know
problems.
when you get to the Nurgle's turn. I was ahead of you, definitely.
Nurgle turn now. So the Nurgle are going to have to try to clear off as many of these guys as they can, which is basically only one.
Probably going to scatter it.
And then
They've got to score, so they've got to scatter this and hope for a nice scatter. Can they scatter it? Yes, with the Pestigore up top, but no, not with that push.
I was gonna say you block the guard with the Claw Mighty Blow piling on guy, and then you could move the beast in to be on top of 2 of the humans. To
That's
just
a
keep them
reroll
there.
gone to a 1 in 9.
And now you got 3 guys tied up. I don't really like how he did that.
No, me neither.
I would have put the beast just on the ball, basically.
Oop. Claw Mighty Blow armor break on the ogre, but he is fine. So now he cannot scatter the ball. So now he has to do an Agi 4 -2 pickup with sure hands. This is a 4+.
Yep. Free reroll though,
easy.
75%. And he gets it.
Still riskier than it needed to be, which is the important thing sometimes.
Well, it's only because of the handoff. Ooh, that's a good foul appearance.
It is indeed.
If it wasn't for that foul appearance, we would have been able to get a 1 die on the ball.
Well, we still can get a 1 die on the ball.
Just
This
with
is plus
just
movement
with
guy.
a dodge instead.
Yes.
But that's going to be a frenzy. No, it's not, because that Nurgle warrior is based up.
Yep, it was a good placement.
No
and,
dodge.
He's rewarded for it.
Yeah, so this is where the Nurgle are punished a little bit for their greed. Despite having this in entirely their control, they're probably not going to score now. They still have a shot, but it's going to be hard for them to score now because of that greedy handoff.
They have to do a handoff into a double GFI with a Nurgle warrior that's based up. Like, this is basically not going to happen.
Yep.
Barring some serious nonsense with 0 rerolls, this is not going to happen.
Yeah, especially with the Nurgle so far ahead, I would have tried to just take this. I would have just take the guaranteed score there.
Oh, never mind. That Pestigore is in scoring range. Oh, but he fails the GFI.
Spoilers. Fails the GFI.
We must have different animations on. It's the only thing I can think of.
Well, Nurgle aren't scoring. Yeah, I don't know if I would have gone for that, considering these are all KOs. If like a bunch of those are injuries, I would have gone for it and not worried about scoring this half, really, because, well, an injury for the ogre. But since those could potentially all come back and your enemy's team could be entirely full, you may be struggling to steal it off them in the second half. It depends on how well these KOs go.
So let's see how they go. The humans get one back.
Well, that's not how you want it, especially since one of them that's out is Mighty Zug. So that's not what the humans wanted, because they were out, 7 players, and they got one back.
Or they wrote 5 KOs.
5 KOs and a death is out 6 players. So they had 3 bench that puts them out 3, and then 1 KO back is putting them out 2.
Yes,
so they're at 9.
2 guard, and the killer are the ones, and Mighty Zug are the ones that didn't come back. I think a Lino came back.
That's really unfortunate. If any of those other KOs had come back, this would have been actually really bad for the Nurgle, and the handoff, the greed handoff, would have been like extra punished. But because the KOs didn't come back, it shouldn't be too difficult for the Nurgle to steal the ball and score in their opponent's half. But that could have been way worse for them if that did not go that way. They got a little lucky with those KOs, or the humans got unlucky, however you want to put it that way. Abracadabra. Magic. Volpez was told that there is magic happening here.
What are you drinking, Ben? Do you have a beer?
I have Nitwit by Garrison.
It's pretty good.
I like it. It is a Belgian style wheat.
Elects to put Nurgle warriors on the line instead of Rotters. Admittedly, he is down 2 Rotters, so he could not put Rotters completely on the line. But
extra reroll for the humans.
They will need it.
Fails the catch because disturbing presence. That's funny.
Yes. Well, it was a 6+, so.
I just think it's funny.
The 2 wasn't going to get it done either way.
Just landed on the human. Well, the Nurgle only have 1 Rotter available, so they had to put not Rotters on the line. I think they just, I don't know. I probably still would have put the 1 Rotter on the line anyway.
Agreed.
Although he may have been tempted to keep him around to try and foul, and if he just goes out, then you have nobody you can foul with. Depends on how you want to play this half. Are we going to foul that Nurgle warrior?
Very well might.
Good thing we have sure hands.
Sure hands doing a thing on that thrower.
Yeah, here's the foul. Getting the run up, as is correct.
Technically correct. That is an exposed ball, and that is a send-off.
It is. Is it? The Pester can reach Kenny? I think so.
Oh, right. Nurgle are slow.
Slow as hell. The Pestigor can reach it with a double GFI, I think, and cutting the corner.
Yes. 3+ dodge and a
2 GFIs.
2 GFIs.
Probably not worth it.
2 die on blodge where you're looking for
a power.
Where you're a 1 in 9 risk.
Could have done it with the
Sure, this Claw Mighty Bow piece is at 100% armor breaks at this rate.
I think so.
And instantly.
Well, yeah, it's just a stun, and you're pretty safe there to pile it on. I would.
Just a stun, though. Yeah, I'd pile it on as well. The beast 1 in 9s. All right.
Could we have made that a 3-die? We could have.
Absolutely.
And I would have made that a 3-die, or at least not done that before blocking the blitzer on your Claw Mighty Blow Nurgle warrior. That was ordering, certainly.
Instant ogre blitz.
Yeah.
I don't know where this ogre is going, but he's blitzed. Okay, he's going to provide an assist up here. Ball is running back, playing a bit of the elf game.
They're humans.
Can do that.
Especially against Nurgle.
Can.
Well, they're going to get...
catch guy going to be the scoring threat.
Yeah, well, they're not going to outbash Nurgle, certainly. So they have to try to out-movement and out-elf them. And the human with, the thrower has throwing access, and the catchers with their movement 8, they should be able to out-movement the Nurgle pretty seriously.
I don't know why he went back to cover this ball. There are no Nurgle players that can reach. I don't think this Pestigor is minus movement.
It doesn't matter if the warrior is moved. He could have still made this a 3-die with the free Pestigor and the Rotter. And it's better. It's objectively better to make something a 3-die rather than not make it a 3-die.
I think we're going to see a blitz on the block diving catch. Was that a dodge through diving tackle?
I don't see a dodge.
There's a diving tackle. I mean, I think he meant last turn.
Oh, okay.
There's a diving tackle.
The catcher, yeah.
Warrior. Ooh, failed GFI going for the ogre.
Oof.
Re-rolls it. Oh, he's not going for the ogre. He's going for the lineman. And then he 1-9s it.
Good.
All apple pie.
So much punishment.
Anemia, Cousin Avi.
So much punishment.
That is a tied up lineman. Or, yeah, that is a lineman. Ogre once again, first action of the turn. When you have a block ogre, I can kind of understand that, but
yeah, I mean,
it's a little bit scary.
Yeah,
I mean, there's not a lot for the humans to do here. They just have to try to.
I think that's the only thing he can do. Like, that's probably the safest thing he has, other than the 2 movements he just did.
Oof, going to space with that catcher.
Yep. Well, I think you have to, honestly, with what, like, you're just gonna lose. Like, you've got every one of your players based up by 2 guys. You need to do something silly if you want to have a chance at this. So he's going for it. And if you quick score, then you have a chance at getting 4 players back from your KOs, which would be huge. Like, I think you need to try to go for the quick score here, rather than anything else.
Yeah, I mean, I actually don't think I would expose the niggle, especially on that player.
I
didn't realize that was required.
I don't see how I didn't see how it would have required exposing the niggle, but I didn't pause and look at it very long.
So if he doesn't cover this off, I mean, this is going to be a pass through a disturbing presence, but he's not currently. Ooh, Agi 4 blitz on the ball.
Yep.
Does not find a knockdown. Does not find a knockdown.
Nope.
That is tackle not doing a thing.
Certainly is not. I agree with that. I would have done that as the Nurgle. And this is a good spread of the disturbing presence too. Like, so either the humans are going to have to make. Oh, that's not good.
Starts his turn with a 3+ and 1-9s it.
I was gonna say, even if the humans do dodge out and try to make the pass, they're either gonna have to do a very long pass, or they're gonna have to do it from inside disturbing presence, and both are not a good option. Passing against Nurgle can be rough if the Nurgle position well.
I think he had a pass where he could have run up the sideline here and done a 1 disturbing presence long pass, but yeah, I mean, that's still far from desirable. Ball goes into the crowd.
Boink.
And immediately in front of the Agi 4 piece. That is not good.
Yeah, that's one way of putting that.
Sure Hand's doing the thing,
yeah,
despite the Agi 4.
The failed dodge is unfortunate. You kind of, it was, because it would have been a 4+ for the ball carrier. It's kind of annoying. So you don't want to do that dodge first, but you failed the 3+1 right away, which kind of sucks.
Oof, injury on the lone lineman holding up the beast. He's fine.
Beast is happy to get, I think, does that level him? Or no, that puts him at 15. So
Ogre trips up.
Oh no, that does level him.
He's fine.
Beast is very happy with that, because now that's a guard stand firm beast, which is extra annoying.
Stand firm is such a clutch skill on Beast and Nurgle. Ogre continues to be angry. Backhands a rotter.
Boink.
Mighty Blow doing a thing, but not keeping him out. So we've got a 4+1 die on the ball. I think you take that.
Yeah, you don't really have any other options at this point.
Fails the 4+ dodge initially, re-rolls, and fails it again.
You're like 1 second ahead.
Spoilers. He failed the dodge.
Failed the second dodge. And stunned himself. Well, the Nurgle can just score now, but they also don't need to.
No,
they can
it's
just
going to be a stall out until turn 16 thing. And
probably.
Some humans.
They can stall forever. It was unfortunate for the humans. The Nurgle did a lot of greedy things, and it didn't really punish them in some ways. Or it didn't punish them as hard as it could have, certainly. But yeah, the Nurgle can stall out forever now, and then score on 16. And there's nobody that can even reach if the ball carrier goes far enough. Beast really stupided, so we can't put him in an annoying place, but for the most part, it's just like, here, every human, have a Nurgle warrior, and then you have the Nurgle warrior punch every human every turn, because the humans can't do anything.
That's it. It takes the internet a really long time to get up to Nova Scotia.
Yep.
This claw
Still-
pawn player has been firing off.
Still trying to hand off and still not accomplishing it. But it's fine. He has 2 turns in an Agi 4 guy. He can pick up the ball at will. So you can
I
try
think
it
I
again.
like this. This is fine.
I would do it. I wouldn't have done it half one on turn 7. I certainly, with players nearby, I certainly would have considered it now.
You take the... Oh no, that's a strength 2 catcher. Never mind. I was gonna say you could blitz the killer out of spite, but oh, diving tackle, doing a thing.
Doing a thing.
Sometimes it's not a fake skill.
Diving tackle, doing a thing. Nurgle warrior diving tackle.
The floor continues to brutalize poor Rock Lobstrosity.
Just here you go. Every human on the field have a Nurgle warrior. Like that's all he has to do at this point.
Yep. Really trying to level Twisted Turkish the second. I wonder if he's going to try a pass.
Don't forget to activate the beast, like I always do.
You're getting better.
No, I forgot to in my game against the Wood Elves. I forgot to activate it.
Don't tell me shit like that.
Although he forgot that I didn't activate it either and played like it didn't have a tackle zone or did have tackle zones, so I wasn't punished because he also forgot. Although that's a thing.
Is he doing a handoff again?
Nope, he's failing to pick up the ball.
Oh, he snaked it. Interesting.
And
I mean, this would be really funny if he snaked it 3 turns in a row, but I doubt it.
somehow I don't think that's going to happen. The humans can scatter it, though. I don't know if you should.
Maybe you just give up. No, I mean, no, honestly, I wouldn't.
I don't think I would scatter because you'd probably want to just leave it in the 3 tackle zones, and the scatter could be really bad. Like 4 of the scatter positions are really bad, whereas 3 of them are good.
Is he intending to do an ogre dodge here? Yeah, okay.
Yep, I'm slightly ahead of you now. Let me.
It's fine. I figured I would just be behind because that was better than being ahead.
So now we can put the beast in an annoying spot, though. He's on 2 guys. So all of these dudes are marked up. We do need to try and remove some of these tackle zones from the ball. He could have just attempted to scatter it with a blitz from the Chaos Warrior there. And that might not have been bad.
That would have been a good idea, yeah.
But we can also just remove 2 T... this is a chain push, so we can remove all of them, so it's fine. You can just remove all of the... you can chain push and remove all of the guys from the ball. So we'll do that.
Well, provided you get a knockdown on a 3-die, which, spoilers, he does.
Yep. And now we can get a... we have a year 2+. Now... Okay, he's got it. Is he going to try the handoff again? Yes, he is.
That would be suicide. Suicide.
Handoffs at 0-0. Although the humans are super marked up, and like he's just banking on being able to score with the Agi 4 guy next turn anyway. But if you snakes again...
He failed it!
if you snakes again, that'll be really funny.
Let's make it so that I have a 1 in 36 chance of tying this game.
Yep, and now we have the ogre on the ball. But the humans failed to
Ogre, it must
dumpster.
be said, has been an absolute unit all game.
Ogre is a monster.
Dodge, not getting the job done there. Couldn't even make a 3+2+.
So we can 2+2+ to score with the Agi guy still. Or we can blitz the ogre away. Either way.
Oh, never mind. It was a 4+3+ because humans are humans. Yeah, of course you would have greeded. We've never seen you lose games because of greed.
Never. Okay. Now do we score? This is where he snakes and we all laugh really hard. Come on, snakes. Oh, he's fine. Damn it. I say damn it like it's bad. I mean, I've picked them to go to the playoffs, so like I get more points in our little competition if he wins, so I shouldn't be sad that that happened. But I wanted to see the greed punished because, you know, greed.
Yep. So that was game number 1. So now we'll go look at the leaderboard for Division 7.
Do you want to do the other game first, or?
No, we always do game Or do we? What do we do?
I mean,
I think you're right. We do go game. So yeah, put up your magical away screen where our faces get big and we can get into the other game.
Yep. So that's a 1-0 win. Well, we can talk. That was a 1-0 win for the Rotting Snatches. MVP goes to the ball carrying Niggle, and MVP goes to the dead lineman. The only player who got a perm that game is the one who got the MVP. The literally only player. So that's unfortunate.
Death is semi-permanent.
There were a lot of armor breaks.
Yeah, let's actually... I'll go back and look at it real quick. Got a little ahead of myself. Yep, 20 armor breaks on 43 blocks. That's not 43 knockdowns. What's the armor? Jesus Christ.
Yep.
Crawdad experience was on the receiving end of 57% armor breaks, which is pretty nuts, because I don't think I ever saw a piling onto unbroken armor. So piling on Claw Mighty Blow always broke armor before the piling on. So that's not inflated by piling on as a skill.
I did Iron Adept,
just...
and we'll talk about that when we get to the team review, or the results portion of this.
They made 50% of their dodges. They did pretty well on injuries. They failed 4 out of 5 tentacle rolls. Yeah, the humans, it must be said, did get a little diced. But they also made some mistakes that exacerbated
on the armor rolls, certainly. And the Nurgle played really greedy and weren't punished for it as much as they could have been. I mean, they failed a lot of handoffs, but I mean, they weren't punished for failing handoffs, really, in the long run.
Truth.
And there was not managing to score in their own drive when their opponent only had KOs could have really hurt them, but the KOs didn't come back, so it turned out not to matter. All right.
The True Blue wants to steal you for simulation.
I don't know how.
Start charging people.
They're not good. They're very bad simulations, and I would not take anything they say.
They're largely nonsense, aren't they?
Oh, largely. I mean, it's basically flip a coin, and then give the win to the team that won the coin flip, but then do that like 500 times. It basically just simulates like 500 end of seasons to see what, like, ideally with that many runs, it should like account for basically any one of the situations occurring, and then the ones that occur more often are probably the ones that that player is going to playoffs because they're already ahead. Like, very often it just predicts the teams that are already winning to be ahead. But it depends a lot based on team records, right? If one team is very far ahead, they'll basically always end up in playoffs. If a lot of teams are close, then it ends up as a more even split. So I'm ready. Are you in the game?
I am indeed.
Let me bring us into it. And we are going to watch a Dwarf Chorf off. We've got Unseen Walker and Rage Dorf versus Mr. J and Rouges Gallery. Both teams are at the top of the leaderboards. We had, I think, both predicted that, or no, I think it was me that predicted Rage Dorf to go.
I
From this division, I think I had Rage Dorf.
No, we both predicted Rage. We both predicted Rage Dorf.
Oh, and my state and my
which is Unseen Walker.
Yeah, but and the Wood Elves as the other team, right?
Yeah, you predicted the Wood Elves, and I predicted someone who got banned from the league. So
good. But both of these teams are at the top of the table, so it's very important in terms of standings. It's a Dwarf Chorf off, which should be interesting. At least we'll get to see some dwarfs or chorfs die, and either the way that makes us happy. And also, they're playing in the rain.
Dorf off in the rain. I hope it'll be less disappointing than the Dorf Khemri off in the rain was, right, which was a great game, but the rain didn't matter.
Right. Do you want to watch this? Yeah, 3, 2, 1, play. So the
from the dwarfs.
Yep, and the dwarfs have a wizard.
The dwarfs do. We're clearly cheering for the dwarfs because we both predicted them to win.
Mm-hmm.
The dwarfs have the wizard, possibly on the back of Mr. J's 4 rerolls, which is quite heavy for Chorfs at this level of development.
Every time we look at his team, we yell at him to get rid of one of those rerolls. Every time.
I do. It looks like the dwarves are receiving first, so they'll be going on offensive. Makes a lot of sense versus Chorfs. You don't really want to give them the opportunity to trim you down.
Nope. And yeah, because you're gonna lose dwarves to that claw, certainly. But if you can get a chance to remove some of the hobgoblins and make their the Chorf ball carrying a little bit harder, not that it's going to be with that bull centaur. That's a way you can get an advantage here. That's a short kick, which is kind of like okay with the dwarves. Honestly, they just get to get in a giant scrum.
I mean, it could be bad. Quick snap is nice. Does let him get. I mean, I don't think you really put the So you don't put the guard stand firm guy under the ball. You don't want him to catch it.
No, you certainly do not. You just move him to cover it. Although he may catch it if it scatters the wrong way, which could be annoying.
Technically could, but seems unlikely. Mighty Blow hit on a Hobgoblin. Does not get anything done, but does get another one.
Can try again.
Could be maximizing these blocks a bit more, but would require to...
I'm surprised he fielded both runners. He fielded both runners instead of an extra Longbeard, where one of his runners is the strip ball wrestle guy, which doesn't really help that much on offense. But
agreed. I would have gone with
the Longbeard is also just a rookie, though, so like he's just kind of a worse runner regardless. Or the runner doesn't have
Mighty
armor
Blow
9.
not doing a thing there, and oh, we're gonna see a blitz on the Strength 5 or Strength 4 Hobgoblin, I should say.
You're ahead.
He's not. That's not. It's not that
Here's the
gross.
blitz.
The blots. It didn't happen yet. I was predicting it. And the blitz gets
a push.
That Strength 4 Hobgoblin's gonna punch this guard stand firm dwarf.
Quick, go hide. Oh, sure hands fails because, dwarfs in the rain.
That would have failed in the
sun.
In the sun. That was a double GFI for the blitzer to get out of harm's way, though. It must be noted.
Yeah, he didn't want to get... He was like one square away from the Claw Mighty Blow piling on Horns Chorf.
Yes. I say this not as like I wouldn't have made those GFIs. I wouldn't have because I would have positioned differently so I didn't have to make them. But ooh,
I'm Shadorra. I'm better than everyone. My plays are the best.
Just say I wouldn't have made unnecessary GFIs.
Here he comes anyway. Greed rerolls, and it pays off in that we do knock over the blitzer.
It is an armor break.
Armor break into a stun, so we tape down that piling on button, and we get a KO out of it. Not exactly. You'd love a removal, but or a permanent, but that's good enough for now.
It is, though. It must be said to get that block, he has given up a lot.
The entire right-hand side of the field.
Well, and also these dwarves are just going to get 1,000 free hits. I mean, they've got as much guard as you do. They can get these hits in, and they have tons of Mighty Blow. Armor 9 breaks. Like, this could be really bad for them.
Yeah,
it's pretty greedy, it must be said.
Here comes the Troll Slayer Blitz, so we get 2 shots at this Claw Mighty Blow. There's the POW, and this is the piling on. This is the piling on guy, so...
Do you pile that on? There is no Dirty Player Hobgoblin that I saw.
No, and the Hobgoblins are all super tied up.
Unfortunately, is not rewarded for it.
Nope. But this is where we do down the line blocks against a bunch of Chorfs and stuff.
Yep.
This is the Mighty Blow hit on a Hobgoblin, which is the big one, really.
I mean, he got 2 on the LOS and got 0 breaks for it, so there's up to 3. So Armor 7 being a bit OP today.
Armor 7 against Mighty Blow, for that matter.
It must be said.
This is really funny.
Been pushed,
just block down the line,
squares.
Move the whole line of dwarfs forward 1 square, continue.
I mean, if he had managed to surf that Hobgoblin from
the center of the pit, 10
squares in on the right, I would have laughed.
But that's 5 dwarves that just made a block and move forward 1 square, and that was the whole turn. Here you go, and they got 2 knockdowns out of it and 0 armor breaks. Compelling gameplay, Dwarf versus Chorf. This is why we wanted to watch it, though. It's funny.
1 die is good on the Claw Mighty Blow piece. Takes him down.
So we're not taking...
Now the Chorfs are on the receiving end of a lot of punching and are now pretty isolated.
Yep. The good news is the Dwarves are only going to take 1 Claw Mighty Blow hit this turn if they elect to blitz with a Claw player, because everyone else was on the floor, not based up. So
probably going to blitz with Turtle, the Niggled, Horns... one.
Probably. Well, no, I was just saying that all of the Claw players didn't have a block, so the only way you could have gotten it was with a blitz, so you only take 1, which is kind of the best case scenario as the Dwarves.
It must be said. 0 armor breaks for Rage Dorf, or for Unseen Walker, that entire line block, and then, he is on the receiving end of more KOs.
And there's a third one, so this is just going to snowball. That's bad.
Yeah, so this is what happens when you're on the receiving end of a dicing from Chorfs.
I mean, yeah, if the problem with dwarves is as soon as you go down players, you just lose. You need everybody available to be able to do anything, and you just went down 3 players and got none of your own. So you're super screwed now because you're just gonna get overwhelmed by all these Chorfs. In the dwarf Chorf matchup, you have more guard armor 9 dwarfs than they do, and now you're just tied because they've removed enough of yours.
Yep, teams trading off dub skulls, but we do have a mighty blow hit on the Niggle, and it is a stun. Niggle,
the dwarf 1-step,
not doing a thing.
That's a skull.
Well, that was a dub skull red die.
He was trying to bank on Dauntless because Dauntless was a 2+, and it didn't work.
Oh, yes, quite. But he did dub skull it, so maybe it wouldn't have mattered.
Yep.
So Unseen Walker is in a terrible place.
Yes, that's one way of putting it. The good news is they're just KOs, so they could come back, but this half is on turn 3 and it's already over. It's going to be so hard for the dwarves to pull off anything here. Especially when hobgoblins break your armor and KO you. What is Thick Skull? Why is there no Thick Skull? There's not enough thick. I'm annoyed at the lack of thickness.
Yeah.
I need to sub to Sean Man entirely so that I can use his thick emote.
Well, he's in our clan now.
Yeah, and we
can announce that while more dwarfs eat armor breaks.
It's super appropriate too because his emote on Twitch is a thick. It's a thick emote, which is awesome. And now he's in clan thick. It's amazing.
Dwarfs bust in armor like pro elves.
Yep. Here goes the hit onto the runner. That's not good enough. That is. And more armor breaks. Goodbye, dwarfs. Oh my god. What is this? This is ridiculous.
He appos the runner. I don't think I would have done that at this stage in the game. I would have probably called that a loss.
I mean, honestly, he might be a little bit tilted, and I don't blame him. Bull Centaur just gets the ball.
Immediate bolt on the bull. Yep.
Sure feet failure, so he stops there. There's the wizard burned on turn 4, but we do drop the bull. Can we even get anybody free?
We can with the dodge.
You're going to have to 3+ dodge. He does make it, and he does pick it up.
He picks it.
Potato dwarf with no one to protect him.
Oh, he's trying to dump the ball, and he does succeed in doing so.
Oh, there we go. That makes sense, I guess. Might as well just get rid of it.
Yeah, I mean, that makes it very hard for the Chorfs to score in the rain.
Yeah, because their only ball carrier is on the floor in your half.
I mean, he's still got a lot of turns. This is still totally doable. Yep. But the ball carry, the only sure hands is, down and in your half. So, as you just said.
But we are going to be able to punch this runner now. He's fine. Bull's just going to run back probably to get the ball. Nope, he's going to stop there. More Chorf blocks, though, so with the number of dwarves that are down, I fully expect a ton of claw hits now because the dwarves are just going to get based to all hell. That's not good enough.
It is not. Dorf is at least standing firm.
Yeah, so he doesn't get... not going to get Mighty Blood again by another guy.
Oh, I meant figuratively. That was a both down. He didn't have the choice.
Stand up, stand up. We're going to...
Dauntless 1 die on the Hobgoblin, which is a Frenzy Trap.
It is, but...
Oh. Red die does not get the knockdown.
There's very little else he can do.
Yep, he's going for the ball.
He's going to get crunched, though, there. Those Troll Slayers are such a big target, and a bunch of them are going to be blockable next turn easily.
Oh, that was a 5+5+, and he snaked it.
Wow. I mean, he's trying for it. I mean, I like this. I like the throw and the dump and chase. Just here you go. I'm not going to win this. I'm going to try really hard to just hope the dice work out.
Armor and injuring Furious Dorf.
That's the downside of basing up your armor 8, guys.
I mean, sure. However, it must be said he doesn't have much of a say in the matter.
No.
Oh, another.
I mean, he could have if he didn't frenzy trap himself with the Troll Slayer, but he did want to to run the dwarf after the ball, so it was kind of his only option.
Yeah. This is brutal.
Alex, not to stand firm. I think I would have, because this way you're not taking a claw one.
Yeah.
Because you could have gotten blocked again by the other guy, but he's not claw, he's just guard.
I guess he's just interested in tying people up at this stage, but that is how you lose guard, stand firm, mighty blow pieces.
Oh, these ones are all okay. We're going to go try to get the ball with the bull.
Oh, he's got identically named players. That's against the rules.
Who? Who are identically named?
Dorf, the lineman.
Dorf? I mean, it's not really against the rules. It's just discouraged.
Oh, not a turnover, because... Oh, no, it is a turnover. Okay. I thought... I wasn't sure if it actually was.
He caught the ball in a 6.
Yep.
What is with bull centaurs and catching the ball? Like, every time I've seen a bull centaur need to roll a 6 to catch it, they do. Every time.
Bull centaurs have an answer to the should you have a bull centaur ball carrier. And the answer is yes. Do you pile this on? Just kidding.
Of course. What are they going to do? Foul you? No reward.
Fouls don't have mighty blow and claw.
That's true.
It's straightforwardly against it.
Is it? I thought it was just, like, discouraged.
No. Actually in the rules. Not allowed to do it. Admittedly, the breaking of that rule just leads to you getting less favorable admin results, but, you know.
Well, that's why I said it's not, like, it's just discouraged, because all it can do is hurt you. It doesn't, like, help in any way. It just means that if you get admin results, they can't assign SPP correctly, so they do it randomly instead. It's not like we're going to ban you for doing this. It's just you don't get good admin wins, and most of the time admin wins don't occur anyway, so it's not like it really matters.
Do you need to do a handoff here? No, you've got 3 turns. You can just run this down.
Because bull centaurs are broken.
So you do need to do some GFIs?
With sure feet, it's fine.
What could go wrong?
Just do them one at a time and stop if you fail one.
Like that.
No fails yet. Oh, failed the last one, but it's the last one, so it doesn't matter.
Oh, jump up fail, so he stays on the ground where, honestly, he's probably safer.
Yep, and that's why the dwarves are dodging and stuff, too, just to try and stay alive. They're kind of screwed. If they wake up after... I don't know. If they wake up after the touchdown, if those KOs come back, they could sort of reset and try again. But But
it is their opponent's drive, and they do have to turn over the Chorfs.
That's true. It could be scary to do so.
So they now need to do 0 GFIs to make it in. And there is no one who's going to be able to hit the ball.
Nope. So Chorfs are 100% scoring this turn. Or this half. On the Dwarfs drive, unfortunately, for the Dwarves. But the Dwarves also have 4 players on the field, which is not where you want to be as Dwarves. Honestly, if you're ever at like 9 players on the field as Dwarves, you just kind of lose.
Incoming foul on the jump up Troll Slayer. Don't mind this.
No, I certainly would when you're ahead this much and you still have a bench.
Even on a block one, yeah. Thick Skull saves the day.
Finally, Thick Skull being thick. Instant
That
dodge
dwarf
failure.
has failed so many dodges.
I mean, they're 4 pluses, but yeah, you would expect one. Well, one of them did work, right? The last one he rerolled and it worked. All right, here's the Bull Centaur run up touchdown. I like how when they throw the ball down to the ground, it just sort of sticks. It doesn't like bounce, just goes thump, like the ground was made out of soft cake.
Physics are hard.
The ball just goes and just stops. It doesn't bounce at all, like dead stop.
It's actually just like a beanbag. It's not a real ball.
It's not a real ball.
Okay, some all-important KO rolls coming up.
Yep. Well, don't skip, because you'll get ahead, and you'll spoil things.
Let's see what we get. And for the dwarves, they get...
I haven't made it. Don't say the number. I'm not there yet.
Where are you?
Dead and injured 1. They get 3 coming back, so 2 are remaining out. One of them being the Blitzer. or one of the ones coming back is a blitzer, so that's good at least.
So they're missing a guard, line dwarf, and the sacker runner.
Which is unfortunate. The sacker runner would be nice to have on defense here. That's a deflated ball. Deflate gate. Rule of 5, sort of.
I mean, it is still the rule of 5. It is just
rule of 3.
You're only protecting 3 players. You have 2 spots that are safe. You're just not filling them.
Yeah. Just put no one on the line of scrimmage. It's fine. If only you were allowed to. Elf teams would be so happy. Oh, this is where we see 3 more removed dwarfs, I imagine, because there are going to be 3 Claw Mighty Blow hits. One of them being Claw Mighty Blow piling on, for that matter.
I would expect 1 removal of these LOS hits.
I'm predicting 3, because that's how this game has gone so far.
Changing weather nice, just in time for the Chorfs.
Yep. Now they don't have to deal with the rain. Block number 1 is an armor break.
And just a stun.
No, he's fine. All right.
Wasn't even thick skull.
Not
second one.
Actually push.
Not a break.
Not actually pushing them down the line, really, but it turns out to not matter. Oh, well, the last guy you probably could have gotten an extra block from.
Absolutely could have.
Well, I mean, I imagine we just blitz him with the horns, dude.
Could make this a 3-die. Would have to commit a bit to it. Chooses not to and does not get it. Rerolls, still doesn't get it.
Well, you got 4 rerolls. You might as well greed with some of them.
Yeah, but that stand firm means he's getting punched.
Yep. All you have to do is, well, you're gonna need another.
Actually,
you
no,
can't.
It's pretty hard. Yeah. You can get a hit.
You can hit the
on
guard guy.
Guard. Yeah. Chorfs are setting up in such a way that if he does elect to commit to that hit, he is going to have to work for it.
If only...
It also kind of looks like the Chorfs are going for a 1-turn.
If only you still had the wizard, you could fireball that. It'd be so good, right? Hitting all those armor 9 players.
You could hit 9 players with the fireball.
And 3 of your own.
Yeah, value 9.
Yeah, so we hit the guard guy, but it doesn't do anything.
I wonder. Oh no, we're not going to get a chain push. I thought for sure we'd be chain pushing this Claw Mighty Blow piece away.
Yeah, I would have considered that.
Oh no, he's going for the ball.
Fair enough. I mean, playing aggressively, might as well. You're down 1. You've got to do something silly if you want a chance at winning this. So I mean, it's probably not what I would do, but I don't dislike it. I probably would have chain pushed the claw guy off my players because I'm a pansy and I don't play aggressive, stupid things like this unless I'm in 1 minute.
Starting the turn with a 1-9able block is brave.
Yeah, the prone guy wouldn't get hit by the fireball, but for a stupid joke, I didn't really feel the need to clarify the rules.
It is worth noting that while the prone guy does not get hit by the fireball, a prone player does get hit by the goblin bomb.
Double skull.
And a push, so that is a stand firm dwarf blitzer who's gonna
stand firm.
Get to smack someone if he wants to.
Yeah. Did you want to stand firm there? Because if you're going after the ball, don't you want your guy to be free? I mean, I suppose he's Agi 3 dodge, so worst case he can. Well, these guys are all Chorfs, so the dodge doesn't matter.
Does not.
I don't know if you would have wanted to stand firm there because now you're based up.
I think he's fine tying up all these claw players and forcing the Chorfs into a kind of a sloppier screen.
I suppose that's true.
But yeah, I mean, I don't love it either. Ooh, starts with a 1-die. Does not get rewarded.
I don't have much else to do, honestly. I mean, you probably should have stood up the guy who was on the floor before you 1-died, I guess. But
goes for the 3+ dodge, immediately fails it, and 1-9s it.
Rip. So if you're gonna do that, I mean, should you have just not stood firm? I feel like you shouldn't have stood firm there. If you wanted to utilize the blitzer. But I suppose you wouldn't gonna know what your opponent's gonna do until your turn anyway.
You'd also be 1 square farther to the sidelines. You're more marginalized.
I suppose. Dwarf blitzers are a marginalized positional. If only he had 2 Troll Slayers and one was on either side of the pitch, then that bull is surfable. But this one is too far away. Here comes the Horns Claw Mighty Blow piling on nonsense. Block, saving the day. We currently have a hit on the ball with the runner, and I don't think the Dwarves can do anything about that. It's uphill, but...
do you take it?
I mean, yeah, I don't... Can you do anything else? You could... Nope, that doesn't help.
You can one die the... Oh, no, it's a guard.
You can uphill with the runner. You could make it a... You could make it a...
It goes for a 3+ blitzer dodge. Does make it.
With this guard piece, you can make it a... And 2 GFIs, you can make it a 1 die, which is what he does. So here we go. Going for the 1 die.
And gets a pow.
Nice.
Wow.
That's good for the Dwarves. Bull Centaur goes
Scatter
down.
out is also good. Scatter in is...
Bad.
Truly atrocious.
that's like the one spot on the field you don't want it to be.
It basically launched itself into a cage of Chorf players.
Yep. I mean, honestly, the Dwarves would have been happy with that, just like going back to the Chorf line and make the Chorfs run all the way back and get it. But
question: has he forgotten about Mad Dorf?
I guess he's just no. He moved him down there before he did the 1 die because in case it failed, he wanted somebody capable of sacking the ball again. He moved him down before he did the 1 die.
Yeah, that throw in, if it had gone up towards the strength 4 blitzer, we could have seen some good things.
Yep. Did not, though. We're doing the Chorf shuffle, or the Dwarf shuffle. Punch, move forward 1 square, punch, move forward 1 square. Not thick, not thick, not thick. Bull Centaur standing up and blitzing himself free in order to go get the ball, presumably. It's already in a cage of his own players. What could possibly go wrong?
Nothing when you're Agi 3 sure hands.
Nope. Here comes Mad Dorf. Dauntless fails, so we only get a 1 die. Turns out not to matter.
Dorf is angry. He piles on.
Oh, it's armor 7.
And that's dead.
Ooh! Blight 2 is dead.
No Apo. Have we already seen the Apo? No, he just didn't Apo that.
Goodbye, well, yeah. Goodbye, Strength 4, Hobgoblin. I mean, it was nice to have while you had it, but honestly, it's probably just a little bloaty, so it's not really the worst thing in the world to have dead.
Yeah. I don't hate it.
Well, especially since you already have a Bull Centaur ball carrier. If you didn't, I would just ball carry on that Strength 4 guy, but you're going to be ball carrying on the Bull Centaur anyway. So I don't think it's worth the Apo.
I mean, the likelihood of further damage is extremely low, but yes.
But, like, it's pretty much any other player you'd rather have.
Then why don't you just fire him?
Because it's one of the...
If you're just waiting for someone to fire him for you, then...
It's not worth the Apo. Like, I'm not saying he's a bad player. I'm saying he's not worth the Apo.
But the Apo is, as just discussed, largely worthless. The odds of the Dwarfs causing further damage is pretty low. They're not getting a lot of blocks.
No.
So I guess my argument is simply, like, if he's so low value that a basically useless Apo is not worth giving to him,
no, it's not that
then why do you have him?
Because the Apo would be more valuable in literally any other case, but the player is not worth having.
Right, but that, as I just said, doesn't make any sense.
I mean, it makes perfect sense. What if the Mighty Blow piling on does another thing?
I don't know. I think the line there is too narrow. Like,
stand firm, getting to keep the Dwarf on the ball.
Jump up,
and he
does get to good block.
And he is guard, so we can... I mean, we can't really free up anybody here very well. We can 3+ dodge out to 1 die with the runner, I think is the best thing you can do here.
Oh, he blitzes instead with the
Oh.
Ganondorf.
You could have 3+ dodged out with the runner and then 1 died from over here with the runner because this guard piece.
Well, he can 1 die this way instead. Doesn't get it done though, because that was a 5+ basically. He did not apple the strength 4 Hobbo. No, Archangel.
Well, he's telling Ironad up what we're arguing about.
Oh, I see.
Well, we got the Chorfs surprisingly tied up here, despite not having very many dwarfs. Like, Rage Dwarf is doing well to sort of keep this under control, despite the nonsense that happened in the first half. Things have evened up a little bit in terms of armor breaks. They're not removing a dwarf every hit, I say, as a dwarf gets armor broken and stunned.
Yes, the strength 4 one died.
But, you know, already being down players, plus down a touchdown on your half, make it really half. Thick Skull doing a thing, making it really hard. But he's doing well now that he's not getting removed every other block.
He's still getting stunned every other block, but...
At least he's not dying. Oh, there's the break tackle.
Needed it even. It was a 2.
Yep.
Or even block and sure hands. A strength 4 ball carrier. Pretty good.
I mean, the only downside to that is that you have an Agi 3 Bull Centaur, which is just a better strength 4 ball carrier. So trying to make him a ball carrier when you already have a better one is just not really worth it, I think.
Agreed.
Like, I just don't think I would have taken strength pure. Like, I don't know if I would have taken strength at all.
I would have taken guard. Oh, 1 die is good. Keeping Rage Dwarf technically in this game.
Oh,
and
scatters out, and there goes the ball
presumably,
to space.
Dodge guy. I can be your hero, baby. No, failed dodge.
No. But this very well may just end up 1-0 for the Chorfs rather than 2-1. Or 2-0, I mean. But the dwarfs still have 2 turns, so if they can free up somebody and do a lot of GFIs, I think they can get there, right?
Stun City for the Chorfs now. Too little, too late for the dwarfs, probably.
No, the dwarves don't have anybody in range, I don't think.
Uh,
No, they could get the blitzer, they could get to the touchdown zone, technically, and they'd have to dodge out and pick up and pass on turn 16 with a long beard.
I believe.
He was talking about this dodge guy, but yes, the Chorfs do have tackle. Not this guy. So this blitzer is going to have to do a 4+, 4+, 3+, 2+, 2+, just to get like within scoring range. And you also have to free up this Longbeard to actually get to the ball. So he has.
Which you can do.
Yeah, he's gonna have to. He can blitz himself free and then walk up this way, or not.
Oh, he's blitzing with the blitzer, which does the same thing. He doesn't blitz himself free, but he does blitz away for the blitzer to leave.
Well, he needs to get 2 players free because the blitzer can't make it to the ball and score. He needs.
Ooh, gets an injury with the piling on. Bet he's happy he has that Appo. All right, oh, never mind. He rolled double AV.
Well, slightly justified, but.
Actually, no, it was AV and a 6. I think a 6 is strength or niggle. I'd have to go look.
Failed the dodge out, but he needed to try if he wanted a chance at scoring. So this is going to go to the Chaos Dorf sort of 1-0 no matter what happens here. They can technically still score to make it 2-0.
Fails a dodge.
So you might as well try.
A 56 is... Oh, no, it is double AV bust, because a 55 and a 56 are -1 on the value.
So he frees up the bull to put himself in the end zone. And I imagine we're going to see like a long bomb from a hobgoblin at this point, which in my experience works 100% of the time.
Long bong hobbo.
Failed the pickup though, so maybe not. Guess not.
Oh, ye of little faith, Ben.
Every time I've had a hobgoblin long bomb into a bull centaur catch touchdown before, but it was also in Disturbing Presence, and the bull centaur wasn't Agi 3. And it happened against me, which was very annoying. Yeah, it only works if you don't call it first. It works if you don't expect it to work. It works. It doesn't work if you do expect it to work. So that's a win for Rouges Gallery over Rage Dorf. Unfortunately for me and my playoff predictions, and I think that as we are about to see, will spiral the Chorfs into the top of the table. 61 blocks versus 38 blocks. But to be fair, a lot of that was because there was so many removals in the first half. Like, it's not like there was a lot of removals. That's why he had, the removals were because of all those blocks. It was more that all those blocks were because of the removals. Because he got all the removals at the start, and then it just allowed him to punch the dwarves around a lot.
But 61 is a lot. He did get 20 armor breaks and an MVP on his dead plus strength hobo, which probably was a little bit of joy for Unseen Walker.
Yeah, it was the snowball, really, right? But normally you see, like, 20 armor breaks, 60 blocks. That seems about right for all that claw. But, like, the armor break dice were really hot at the start, and then they weren't later. And a lot of those blocks were because he removed so many players.
That's still an immense amount of armor breaks, even with claw.
Yeah.
Like, he had his armor broken 38% of the time, which is almost the same as if he was all AV7. So, like, with no Mighty Blow. So maybe, like, the Mighty Blow spam is doing it.
Mighty Blow and Claw. I mean, there's three of them.
I think it's still pretty high.
It is high, but I'm just saying that a lot of those blocks came because of removals rather than the other way around.
Okay. Dauntless, not really doing a thing. His GFIs were good. His casualties, not bad. His dodges were abysmal, but he's dwarfs. Yeah.
So if we look at the leaderboard, that we see that snowballs Rouges Gallery into first place with 6-1-2. Although the Elements of Style, since All Orc No Play is no longer in the league, will be at 7-0-2 once the week rolls over. So they'll be ahead in first place, ahead of the Chorfs by 2 points. The Chorfs will be solidly second, and Secret Memes and the Lizards with Average Rice will be in third. We've got Rage Dorf and Rolling Red still within striking distance. They're 2 wins behind the Wood Elves, but this is a 2 playoff spot division, so you just need to be second. You don't really need to worry about beating the Wood Elves. They've probably got first locked up. And according to my simulations, which I have done, the Elements of Style, my stays, finishes in first or second place in 98.8% of my test runs. So he's probably making it. The other notable ones are Rouges Gallery with 48.6, Rage Dorf with 12.8, Average Rice Joes with 24.4. Surprisingly show up there. And then there's a couple low percentages here and there scattered about. All Orc No Play has 3.8%, but they are not going to be playing anymore, so really it's a 0. Even down as low as Draenor isn't in the Dead Wrestler Society isn't mathematically eliminated. They make the playoffs in 0.4% of my simulations, so it's technically possible. Same for the
and as one of my picks was banned, I'm gonna totally pick my stays.
Okay, sure, yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. That would be stupid. I'll just eat the ban.
So yeah, we're very likely to see my stays in the playoffs at this point with 4 weeks to go.
Don't fuck it up.
And the next likely targets are going to be either the Chorfs, Dwarfs, or some variety of lizards. So other games that happened this week in this division. Elements of Style versus All Orc No Play did not occur, unsurprisingly. Oh, sorry. I was trying to find my list. Great Cold Ones.
We did actually predict the Orcs, interestingly enough.
We did, but it doesn't count because it's not going to get played. Yeah. In the Great Cold Ones versus the Respectable Gents, we
predicted the Norse would win, and it was a tie.
Yep, 0-0. We predicted a Norse win. MVP goes to a lineman. MVP goes to the AV busted Beastman, which sucks.
Yep.
looks like the Great Cold Ones had that in control. They had 67 blocks. They had the ball more often to the 45 blocks of the Chaos. Similar amounts of removals, but with similar amounts of removals, you expect Norse to do better than Chaos, because Chaos rely more on removals than the Norse do. Bloody game. 4 casualties, 5 casualties, and a death.
They kind of simultaneously half pitch cleared each other, which is my favorite kind of game because it turns into a game of 7s, basically.
Yeah, I like 7s. It's cool. But it looks like the Norse just sort of controlled that more, but weren't able to convert it into a touchdown, unfortunately, because of all the removals the Chaos got as well.
Yeah, maybe some bad stuff going down.
I mean, I think you should be able, he should be able to pick somebody else now, I guess, but he would just pick the person that we think is going to make it for sure, which, kind of negates the whole point in the first place. So I don't know. I don't really care either way. He's the one who made the rules. He can decide. And we had the Average Race Joes and the Bad QB Squad, where we predicted the Lizards to take it over the Underworld, and they did. 2-0. We got a MVP on a lineman who is niggled, unfortunately. So that's rough. Armor 7 niggle. But, you kind of do want the positionals with the levels, considering they have your regular linemen don't have general access. So getting stuff like tackle is kind of good. Skink picks up MVP and levels, so we'll get one of the standard Skink levels out of that.
We did. Spoilers.
Yep. Looks like the Lizards, this is kind of how we expected it to go. The Lizards just pitch controlled the hell out of the Underworld. Underworld barely touched the ball. Got half the number of blocks that the Lizards did, which isn't even a ludicrous number, 42. So, like I said, probably just expect the Lizards just pitch controlled the hell out of the Underworld, and the Underworld weren't really able to do much about it.
Yep. If anything, the injury dice were a bit kind. I don't know what order this all happened in, which doesn't matter, as we just saw. But 7 KOs and 1 injury on 18 breaks is pretty low for Kaz. A bit low for Kaz. It's fine for overall removal rate, but you'd expect a few more removals to be Kaz's. Where the Bad QB Squad got 5 removals on 8 breaks, which is quite lucky.
Apparently, the Norse got unlucky with the big guy failing a GFI with the reroll, and otherwise they probably would have been able to win it.
I mean, a big guy with a reroll fails what?
It's a 2+.
2+. But with Loner, so.
I mean, it's a 90% with a reroll still.
Isn't it a 1 in 16? Is that how that works?
No, because it's a 1 in 6 to fail it initially. Then if you fail it, you have to do a 50%, and if you pass the 50%, then you get another chance at the 1 in 6. So it's a tree.
Right. So the second half becomes a.
It's a probability tree sort of for the second half.
Yeah. Anyway,
it's slightly different than a 1 in 10. It's because it's not exactly 90%. It's like 90.23 or something. Anyway, the Lizards sort of outpitch controlling the Underworld. Sustained 2 casualties for it, which I imagine is that Claw Mighty Blow sort of blitzer doing things. But if you only sustain 2, you can still deal with it.
Yep, one of them was on a failed dodge. It looks like, as the Bad QB Squad only inflicted 1.
So then we had Rage Dorf and Rouges Gallery, which we just watched. So I predicted the Chorfs to win, and you predicted the Dorfs to win. Despite the Dwarfs being my playoff pick, I predicted the Chorfs to win this, and it worked out for me. So there you go.
Sigh. My losing streak continues. Economy of Scale and the Bioware for Life, and this went to the Lizards, and we predicted the Vamps would win because this was the Vamp team that had what we thought was the tools to deal with this Lizard team.
Yep, and the Lizard team managed to pull it off. So let's see. Similar ball possession numbers. Lizards definitely out blocking the Vampires, which is certainly expected.
Not getting a lot out of it, though.
No.
In fact, the Vamps had better removals on 23 blocks than the Lizards did. Lizards got 12 breaks and 3 KOs. That's quite low. You'd expect something in the ballpark of 6 removals, 4 KOs, 2 injuries on...
Lizards failed a lot of pickups.
Oh, God, I know that feel.
They failed 6 pickups, although it might have been just trying to pick up with Saurus when they're ahead. We can't really judge entirely on that because we didn't see the game, but it could have been that. Their block dice were horrendous.
Wow, yeah, that's a thing. How many of them were dub skulls?
Well, probably not a lot, but the thing is, I don't think there's any tackle on that lizard team, and all those vamps have dodge, right?
Let me see. No, that's a triple 3 dice. There were no dub skulls, so that many skulls is bad,
Misleading.
but when none of them were dub skulls, it's misleading.
Bioware for life not getting many blocks. Their bloodlusts were slightly below average. Hypnogaze definitely below average.
Unless they were all really tough hypnogazes.
Yeah. So I feel like while the Vamps may have had the tools needed to deal with this, Vamps are a very variable team. You know, they roll a lot of dice, so sometimes things can go wrong, and if they go wrong at the wrong time, that can be bad, and that's just the thing you deal with as Vamps. So looks like this was one of those times where things did not go the Vamps' way. Yeah, approximately 1 in 10, but not exactly 1 in 10, which is what I said, Iron Adept. So take that. And then we had where were we? Foul Targets and Hufflepuff Heroes. So this is the Khemri versus the Wood Elves. We predicted the Wood Elves to win this, and the Khemri won.
That's bizarre.
Yeah, so Jeff actually messaged me about this. Let's see if I can find it somewhere. You're going to see weird Discord things, because apparently the Freak Tomb Guardian did work. Jeff didn't really take any damage, but the Tomb Guardians, or the Khemri, made all of their regen rolls. There was a lot of elves snaking, apparently.
Damn, Jeff inflicted 4 injuries.
Yeah, but they all regened. Throw raw levels with an MVP, which is kind of nice because he's blodge. So this is a chance at getting plus agi to make him even grosser. Elves inflicting 4 injuries is pretty serious. 5 casualties sustained for the Khemri. But if we look at the rolls here, 4 successful regens and 1 fail is slightly above average. Certainly.
Slightly. The Khemri having pretty good d6 dice in general. The Wood Elves had pretty bad.
They made an intercept, which is very funny. Passed all of their pickups, which is not what you expect as Khemri, but I think they've got some Agi 3 players somewhere on this team.
I believe they do, yes. They're the stat-free Khemri.
Let's see. Foul targets. 70% dodges, probably more than expected. Or less than expected, I should say. 66% of going force isn't great, but that's only 6 of them, so it's close to average in that case because it's only 1 more. It's within variables or within variance.
Yep. And then lastly, Dead Restless Society versus the Fogmire Fenbeast. This was the surprise.
Yes.
Oh wait, no, this was not the surprise.
So we predicted Draenor to win this over Rolling Red, and that's not what happened.
No, and Helmet made an appearance and possibly did work.
Potentially.
Both teams inflicting 5 injuries on each other.
Yep. Dead Restless Society sustaining 6 casualties and 2 KOs, though, as opposed to just the 5 from Fogmire Fenbeast. So in a lizard mirror, the team that loses more lizards is probably going to lose. And it looks like the Fogmire Fenbeasts had the ball sort of more in their control throughout this game. More blocks succeeded, certainly. Chainsaw working 50% of the time. Block dice weren't great for the Dead Wrestler Society. That's a lot of pushes.
Boy, is it ever. Not a lot of pow pushes.
Yeah. And the Fogmire Fenbeasts looked a lot more reasonable for their block dice. Yeah, so Chainsaw doing a thing, Bribe working, some good that's a high casualty success rate. Oof.
Yeah, I mean they both inflicted 0 KOs. Or no, one of them got 1 KOs and then 5 injuries each. So
yeah, that's a serious lizard game where the lizard we didn't predict won. So this wasn't a great week for us in terms of being correct, but that's okay. It happens. We're not perfect.
Indeed.
Shall we
let's look at the leaderboard?
We already did.
Oh, we already did
Shall
that.
we look at predictions?
Sure.
So all Orknor play and the Great Cold Ones is going to go to the Great Cold Ones because of that team being removed from the division. Then we have Elements of Style and Average Race Shows. So we've got MyStays and we've got Average Race's Lizards, who are getting there. They're 1,700 TV now. They're pretty serious. How much tackle does he have? None. I give it to the Wood Elves. I'm sorry, Average Race, but well,
How does he have no tackle?
He has a lot of block, a lot of guard, and
oh, he was really hoping for a level on White Goodman and Peter LaFleur, right? We were talking about this.
Yeah, two Mighty Blow block Saurus are certainly going to be useful, but there's no tackle, and all the guys that have dodge on this team, I think, are blodge. I think he's out of Ward Answer though. He is out his good Ward Answer, so
he has no strip ball, no tackle.
Yeah, I really like Average Race team. Like, it looks so symmetrical and pretty, and I really like it. These Saurus make me happy.
I mean, this is actually going to be a tough game for both of them. Both of them have no tackle. There's no strip ball for MyStays to get easy punches on the ball carrying skink, and the ball carrying skink does have block, so it's not going to be that easy to pop it loose.
No, it's not.
To need a POW. You're basically going 2-die POW fishing every time you cage dive.
Well, the other thing is that all of those Saurus have guard, so it's with all of them having guard, it's very easy to like sacrifice 2 of them to be on cage corners to make it so that there's always guard on the ball regardless.
That's fair.
So it's like you're probably only going to end up with 1-die POW fishing. If the Lizards play it well, which is certainly hard for the Wood Elves to deal with. Although normally Wood Elves are favored in the Wood Elf Lizard matchup, certainly. This is hard. It's not an easy match for both of them, and I don't know who's going to win, honestly.
I already made my call. What's yours?
I believe in MyStays still. We're going to go with Wood Elves.
Agreed.
I think the one-turner is going to be a big deal as long as he can stay alive. The one-turner will do things.
Yeah, and it's just impossible for Lizards to deal with Wood Elves when they have no tackle unless they roll a lot of POWs. If you roll a lot of POWs and cause a lot of injuries, then that's going to be bad.
Then we have Respectable Gents versus Rage Dorf. So we've got the Movement Chaos and we've got the Dwarves.
The Dwarves were pretty uninjured, right?
I think so. I'm going to check that because if the Dwarves took a bunch of damage, it's probably going into the Chaos favor. But if they have the
Dwarves were perfectly fine.
No, Dwarves are totally fine. So I think I want to give this to the Dwarves. They're going to outbash the Chaos like pretty significantly. They've got way more guard, way more Mighty Blow, way more stand firm and dodge. They're going to be able to pitch control better even against those Chaos Warriors. And there's only one Claw player, so if the Dwarves can do well to mitigate the one Claw Chaos Warrior, which they should be able to with guard, because there's only one guard on the Chaos, I think this is going to go to Dwarves. Do you agree?
Yeah, sorry, something pulled me away.
That's fine. We have the Bad QB squad and Economy of Scale. So we've got another Lizard team. Where are they? There they are. Furl's Lizard team. This is the one that we thought would lose to the Vamps, and they won, right? Yeah. Their Croxagore picked up plus movement. Or is that not a new thing? That doesn't seem like a new thing. There's a Crocs with movement and guard, and there's a couple block Saurus. And we're going to be going up against the Underworld. So the thing is, like, the Lizards aren't really equipped to deal with these Underworld. They're not going to be able to do much to the Goblins. And that Claw Mighty Blow piling on Blitzer is probably going to be able to remove a Saurus, like, pretty frequently. Especially with the lack of block on the Saurus side, on the Lizard side. But since this Lizard team is so... let's see, 7, 8, 8, and 9. They get 2 skinks, so that brings them up 120. So they'll be at 1370 versus the Bad QB squad's 1310. So the Bad QB squad can't even get a bribe. Like, they only get 60k worth of inducements, which isn't really that much, honestly, for an Underworld team.
No, the Underworld also get one lineman. Are their linemen? Their linemen are goblins.
Yeah, so
right?
they're 40k. So he gets 20k.
So he's at 1350. So yeah, he pretty much is even.
Yeah.
And he does have the Claw Mighty Blow piling on piece and the Troll. If he goes first and he gets some injuries, this could be hard for Drenar.
Yep.
Or not Drenar, Furl, rather.
Yeah. It's very up in the air, right? I think like if he goes first and he gets a couple good removals at the start, he wins every time. But if that doesn't happen, he doesn't, right? Like
this is a bit of
it's a coin flip for me.
A
really.
lot rides on the coin flip from like the kickoff stuff.
Yeah, I mean, we did predict against him last week and he won, so maybe we have to give him more faith.
More credit, sure. I'll predict the Lizards.
It's so hard for me to do this. I don't like this answer. Let's make it contentious. I'll go with the Underworld. Let's get some conflict in this one.
Cool beans.
Rouges Gallery and the foul targets. So we've got Jeff.
Chorfs versus Jeff's somewhat battered. What else?
And the Chaos Dwarves are also totally fine after the game. They're missing nothing. They got a lot of tackle and a lot of mighty blow, but the claw is useless.
Plus strength hollow.
The claw is pretty useless, which is good for Jeff, I guess.
They do have a sure hands player. Yeah, this is going to be a tough matchup for Jeff. They've got sure hands, so the tackle strip ball isn't doing anything, and there's a strength 4 ball carrier. So, barring some unlucky pickup attempts, which are 1 in 9, so not that likely really. This is going to be a tough match for him. He's got the 2 crazy war dancers, but there's just such a strength advantage and such a tackle prevalence that
it's the Chaos Dwarfs are going to have to play it carefully. If the ball is ever on the floor, the Wood Elves are going to be able to do whatever they want because they've got a lot more movement over you, and they've got the 2 Agi 5 pieces. Right, he can just run in, pick up anywhere, toss to the other Agi 5 guy anywhere, should be fine. Right, like if the ball is ever on the floor, the Chaos Dwarfs are kind of screwed. But like once the ball is in the hands of the Chaos Dwarfs, it's never coming out. And they'll just punch elves while walking up the field, and they have enough tackle to like actually hurt people and make it so that the dodges away from the mighty blow players are slightly harder. Once again, I think this could go either way depending on how the dice go, but I think I want to give it to the Chaos Dwarfs.
Yeah, I agree. Drenar, yeah, I mean, and as Lizards, you often want to defend first, even sometimes against Bash, just because Lizards always want to go for that 2-1 grind or that 1-0 grind, so being in control and playing that strong defensive game when you have a full team is often very beneficial. You don't need a lot of players to score as Lizards, you need a lot of players to defend.
Yeah.
But against this much Claw Mighty Blow on a team with against a team with no bench, against a team that like basically is relying so hard on those LOS blocks taking out Saurus, I would do it. And if I lost the toss, I'd put Skinks on the LOS. I wouldn't put Saurus on the LOS versus the Underworld.
Yeah, Jeff, that kind of sucks. And you certainly can win this, right? If they fail a pickup or something, you have the tools to.
Can always pull out a win.
Yeah, you have the tools to make his life miserable. But once he has the ball in his hand, it's going to be hard for you to defend, and you're probably going to lose elves while he walks up the field. So, like, I don't take this as I have no faith in you. I just think that, on average, the Chaos Dwarfs probably take this. And we have Bioware for Life and the Dead Wrestler Society. So we've got the Vamps, and we've got Draenar's Lizards. Draenar's Lizards are out a Saurus and a Skink, unfortunately. But there are still 2 Tackle Saurus available, and there's the Agi Skink. Strength Saurus. Man, these Vamps are probably sad having to play so many Lizard teams in a row. I would not want to be in this division. I hate playing against Lizards.
Yeah, I mean, especially as vampires, who are kind of hard countered by Lizards.
Yep. Yeah, I think it's like, 80-20 Chorfs, but, you have the tools to take advantage of that 20% dice failure.
I'm never comfortable assigning an 80-20 in a Wood Elf match, Yeah. Like, if you roll well and they roll poorly, like, there's not a lot of games you will lose as Wood Elves. Like, there are lots of teams, like Khemri, you can roll really well as Khemri and you just can't win sometimes because you don't have the movement to score. Wood Elves always more or less have the movement to score. So
yeah, Eddie Guerrero 2 is definitely getting fired.
If you get the cubes, you can get it done.
Yeah, I think I want to give this to Lizards. They have the tools to deal with the Vamps, certainly. They have like the tackle to hit the block or the blodge vampire. They have more strength 4 players because Saurus, are just less agile vampires.
Yeah, this is going to the Lizards.
Yeah, I would agree. I think that's like pretty strongly in favor of the Lizards there. And then we have the Hufflepuff Heroes versus the Fogmire Fen Beasts. So we've got the brilliant Khemri that can't fail regens and have the best Team Guardian in the universe. I love this team so much. Versus, I don't even remember who they're playing. Fogmire Fen Beasts. And Rolling Red.
And his very beat up Saurus, who really needs to get fired. You have an AV8 movement 5 piece. Fire him.
Yeah. Dwarf Pube the Great. That's quite the name for a Kroxigor.
You're thinking about cycling the movement bust. Let's see. You have 210k. That bodes well.
It'll be up on YouTube, Unseen Walker, if you later, probably tomorrow, if you want to watch it again. But it's mostly us being sad about how many dwarves got hurt in half one, and then how there's not much you could do about it. But yet, I commended you for trying a bunch of things.
Yeah, I don't think we saw any. I mean, in particular, the way you played the first bit, where you maximize, you basically were like, you can hit me, but if you're gonna do it, you're gonna have to take a lot of mighty blow hits in return. I think you did that really well, and you were horribly punished where every single one of his blocks resulted in a KO.
Yep.
And everything you did nothing. So,
Yeah, it was unfortunate. Yeah, he didn't take the fourth
would-
double, which is kind of funny because there isn't a good double to take anymore.
Yeah, people were like sidestep, and it's like no, just get like guard,
Just get guard,
mighty
man.
blow, or stand firm. I wouldn't cycle much, or I wouldn't cycle the killer Kowalski. Yeah, words. But I also would have given him guard. If he was blodge guard, he'd be really close right now to blodge guard stand firm, which is disgusting, even at movement 5. I don't think I'd fire the movement 5 with a double.
All right, who do you give the Khemri versus Lizards to? I choose Khemri.
So much mighty blow. I choose Lizards.
Mostly because I want the Khemri to win, because I love their team so much. But there are some good Team Guardians, and there's several armor. Like there are 2 Armor 8 Sauruses, which are kind of vulnerable, honestly, to the Mighty Blow from the Khemri. And if they remove a Saurus, then it's a bunch of strength, similar numbers of strength 4 to similar numbers of strength 5, which 5 is bigger than 4.
5 is bigger than 4. Masters and maths.
A lot of the in stats. A lot of that, honestly, is because I just really want the Hufflepuff Heroes to win because I love this Khemri team a lot. But that's okay. We can have 2 contentious picks.
Fine, you take meme picks while I win the
I'm
competition.
already ahead.
Horribly.
I'm already ahead. I can afford to take meme picks. Although I still I do think that the it could easily go either way, I think. So it's not like super memey or anything. Shall we look at the next division?
Div 7, let's do it. First up is an admin win for Cake. He'll be happy. Can't complain about getting diced in an admin win.
That's true.
Cake and I are friends. I can...
Oh wait, do we still have to go over the last? We have to look over the last week.
Yes, we do, which I just
Admin
remembered.
win for skilled measures. Can't get diced in an admin win. Then we had the Rotterhood versus the Sons of Sam, where we predicted an Orc win, and the Nurgle won 2-0.
Oh, great MVPs.
Yep.
Both of the MVPs for skilled measures once was plus strength Saurus, leveling yellow, in fact.
Great MVP for the Nurgle, too, because they leveled their block Mighty Blow Claw guy, which is certainly nice. With 16 blocks, or 16 armor breaks on 46 blocks, 7 KO sustained, 3 casualties sustained for the Orcs. I think that explains that game away. Rotterhood getting the removals they want in order to win, and then just did whatever they want for the rest of the game once they removed a bunch of Orcs. That's all there really is to say
We
about that
actually
game.
predicted the Orcs were going to win for this, so yeah.
We did, but the Nurgle got lucky, or the Orcs got unlucky
Wow.
and removed
No,
a bunch of players.
Jesus, did they ever?
Yep. High Lord of Rotborg, whatever, getting 9 SPP, including the MVP, and that levels him, which is pretty good.
Hello, SM Curtis.
Hey. Then we had Archangel's Will.
We are doing terribly. We have 1 predicted well.
I have 2.
One correctly predicted match. You have 2.
Then Archangel's Will versus the Authorcs. I believe we predicted Archangel's will here. We did, and they won.
And boy, did he ever win.
Yeah, 3-0. MVP going to Driz Dorden, the War Dancer. So he's leveling.
He is, but he has not picked a skill yet.
No, but he already Mighty Blow Tackle Strip Ball. Hope for a stat, I guess. Leveling an Orc Blitzer as well is nice because he's a rookie one, so you can get more guard or whatever there for Dooof. 14 armor breaks for Dooof, and that did remove 6 KOs and 3 casualties from the Wood Elves. But
an additional KO and a Kaz from dodges and GFI. So Archangel did take quite the beating, but rolled normals on the War Dancer.
Yeah, that's hard.
Sidestep?
Yeah.
Frenzy?
Sidestep or Frenzy might both be good options.
I don't remember what your other dancer has. If you, like, fill whatever gap the other one doesn't have, I guess.
Frenzy is a little scary because this is the strip ball guy, so he's often going to be diving into cages.
Thinking about Fend.
Yeah.
I don't love Fend. I don't know.
It's a hard choice.
I think Sidestep does a lot of the same value and is more annoying in other ways.
Well, if he wants to take Fend specifically for the Norse that he's got coming up, and that's not bad because of all the Frenzy.
I guess. But then you have a Fend War Dancer for the rest of your life. I like Sidestep.
Yeah, Archangel Elf to Doof pretty hard, which is kind of what we expected out of this. So there you go. All his KOs came back, and he got elfed pretty hard, despite Doof being able to punch some elves. Yeah, that's the danger with bash teams against elves, is if you can't get the permanent removals and the KOs come back, a lot of the times you'll just lose. Then we had
tons of SPP for the Wood Elves, Jesus.
Yeah, well, 3 touchdowns will do that, and a couple injuries on top of it.
Then Friendship is Massacre versus Yeti to Conquer?
Yep, we had, who did we predict here? We predicted the Norse to win, and they certainly did. 3-0.
Jesus, just pulled them apart.
19 armor breaks.
Hitting 5 injuries, 1 KO, 1 kill.
9 casualties sustained for Friendship is Massacre.
But only 5 inflicted, so...
9 casualties, 1 KO, and 1 death. That's a huge KO box. Only from sustaining 31 blocks? That's ridiculous.
Wow, 19 armor breaks on
31 blocks
are probably fouls. I mean,
yeah,
knowing
for sure.
Ironmaster, they were probably fouls. But though there were no send-offs, no, 1 expulsion. MVP to a dead zombie.
DP went ham apparently.
Yes, and was not punished for it, or at least not for a while. A lot of SPP for Yeti to Conquer. 15, 21, 25. 5 for the Undead, nothing but an MVP.
A lot of POWs for
Friendship is Massacre sustaining 45% armor breaks is pretty rough.
Yeah, they got hit a lot. Like their armor broke a lot for only getting hit 31 times. 9 casualties off that and a death is pretty serious. What were the regens like? Did we
regen for Undead
20%, 1 for 4.
Yeah.
Not
the opposite of the other team.
His block guard mummy got expelled in the first half. Why would he foul with a block guard mummy?
To save
them,
I
see. Right. That's wow.
If it was at that point in the first half, I think I know how this went down.
Yep. So I guess we can move on and look at the Werewolf of Wall Street versus the Mesozoic Mighty Men. We predicted.
Speaking of Cake, thinking he was going to get diced.
We predicted Liz Cake winning this, I believe. Yeah, we did, and he didn't. We are not on fire this week.
God damn it, Cakey boy! I predicted you for playoffs.
Werewolf of Wall Street taking this 2-1. MVP is going to Standing Not Moving Much and Spinosaurus Stanley 2, leveling neither of them.
Interestingly, the Lizards out-punched the Necro. Out-removed and out-punched. Only slightly out-removed, admittedly, and we haven't looked at the regen rolls, which were...
50%.
50-50.
1 and 1. All 3 KOs woke up for the Necro, and there were 2 failures for the Lizards, which might help.
Can make a big difference depending on what those KOs are.
Yeah, that could add to a little bit of a player differential. And then if you only have skinks to try and chase down werewolves or ghouls that are sort of potatoing, it can be hard to get the ball off them because Strength 2 is a thing.
For sure. Dodges for the Werewolf of Wall Streets did not go well. Made 11 Dauntless rolls? What the fuck?
That's a lot of Dauntless rolls.
What does he have that has Dauntless?
One of his...
Does he have a Wolf of
no, it's
Dauntless?
his white, I think.
One of his whites has Dauntless, and it made 11 Dauntless rolls and succeeded 10 of them.
Pretty sure it's a white.
All right, then.
Nope. It's the Werewolf. The Werewolf has Dauntless.
I guess some of that is the Frenzy then.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Some of that certainly would be the Frenzy. So that's not how we expected that to go, but well done to Cunning Fox Pup for taking it.
We already talked about human versus Nurgle,
Yep.
and Ben did predict the Nurgle to win while I predicted the humans. So
Yep.
Rip that. I remember I was like, the Nurgle are going to win this, but I predict the humans anyway because I've got to back my pick, and I was right. So
It certainly looks like it did. Dauntless against lizards is kind of good because of all that. It's only a 2+ Dauntless because they're only one strength. The Saurus are only one strength ahead of you, and it helps a lot for frenzying against the Saurus because you're going to be frenzy trapped a lot less often if the 2+ works, and it will a lot of the time. In fact, it'll work 5 and 6 times.
Yep. And then we have, last but not least, Wood Elves versus Norse. Hiroto Sakara and as Norse versus Wood United, which is Jeff. No.
Yep. No.
Is it Jeff?
Wood United
No,
is
what's
Luke.
his name?
Luke 4444.
Luke. I was like, it's someone's name. It's just a name.
It's Luke. We predicted.
Plus movement catcher is really nice.
We predicted the Wood Elves would win this, and they did.
Yep. He's that much closer to getting sure feet on the plus movement sidestep catcher, which is always nice.
They
And
took a
the
beating,
lineman
though.
picked tackle.
F-
Yeah, they've been getting battered since this entire
Nor-
story. Well, they've only got
they,
one field line out.
sustained 51 blocks from the Norse, which is a lot. But it resulted in 4 casualties of death and 6 KOs, which, that's a big number. But there were a big number of blocks to cause that. So
Hiroto only inflicted 3, 2, and 1. So one KO, or no, 3 KOs and 2 injuries were from dodges or GFIs. Or
there were a lot of dodges made.
Surfs,
He made 42 successful dodges and 9 failures. That's a lot of dodging out.
It is indeed.
Although basically like dead average on everything, like 12 successful GFIs and 1 failure is like almost as close to perfect as you can get there.
Yep, just threw a lot of dice, and when you throw a lot of dice, things can get kind of risky.
Yep, sometimes. But he won.
Blocking dice were kind of bad, but he wasn't making very many blocks. So.
Nope.
Norse also didn't have amazing block dice, but if they weren't facing up against a lot of block, these both downs are pretty good, really.
It's a very typical sort of Wood Elf game there, and that the Wood Elves get punched a whole lot, but they win anyway because they're elves.
Quite right.
Yep. So after that, this is what the leaderboard looks like. We've got Ironmaster and Tommy Too Tall both at the top of the division, where, if I recall correctly, those are the 2 teams I predicted to go to playoffs, and they're currently tied for first place. So well done, me. And we have Cake in third, only off by 1 point, and Archangel's Will also only off by 1 point in fourth. So there's even now in week 9, this division still could go to many players. Galactic and the Rotterhood is only 1 win behind. Really, it's this is a tight division. There's still a lot of potential things that could happen here for a lot of the teams to move up into those playoff spots. And I did do simulations. Let me find them. So considering how tight this is, there are some nothing is locked up yet. We don't have like a 98.8% like we do in Div 6. The best we have is Tommy Too Tall, the Rotting Snatches, making it 69.4% of the time. I have Yeti to Conquer making it 40% of the time. I have Archangel's Will making it 56.6% of the time. And I have Cake and Grad making it 29% of the time. And then a bunch of other like small percentages, because there's a lot of teams that aren't mathematically eliminated. But all of those, those are roughly 50% sort of probabilities in a lot of cases, because these top 4 teams all have a reasonable shot at making the playoffs without too much difficulty, because they're all so close. So a lot of things could happen here. Nobody has this division locked up by any stretch of the imagination.
Quite. Want to do predictions?
Yep. So
Cake is going to win his bye.
Surprise! Then we have the Friendship is Massacre versus the Crawdad Zydeco experience. So how bad does the Undead team look currently? They got both mummies. One ghoul, the wrestle ghoul is out, but they've still got the edgy ghoul. They've got both whites. It's not as bad as it could be.
I mean, I feel like I've just got to keep giving it to Rock Lobstrosity. He's got to.
Yeah,
He's got to bring it home and win me some points.
That's what I'm seeing when I look at these two teams. I like, but Captain Morley's team it's still in okay shape, but it's not as good as shape as it used to be. And he's in a division where he's like pretty low TV compared to everybody else now, because of what happened to his team recently. So, this is a fine team at 1280 TV. He's going up against a lot of 1600 TV teams, and sometimes the inducements won't do as much as you'd like. So, got to give that to the humans, I think. Let's see. In my last week, I had you at 21.2%, Archangel, and now I have you at whatever I said, 56.6%. So you went up, certainly. But then again, like I said, these simulations are bad. They're not a good, like, they basically coin flip every match and just sort of try to see what situations could occur from that. So every week,
do they take into account like average score? And
I do account average score, but that really favors like elf teams in a way because they often have a higher TD differential, and it's difficult, right? Because like Nurgle teams that will win 1-0 a lot, so they're winning, but they don't have a high TD differential. So the simulation only really cares about TDs. So they see like a Wood Elf team that averages 2 touchdowns a match versus a Nurgle team that averages 1 touchdown a match, and will often predict the win for the Wood Elf team, even if the Wood Elf team has lost every game and the Nurgle have won every game. It's like it's not very good in that way, but it certainly it's the standard deviation in Blood Bowl scores is high enough that pretty much any result is possible, and I just run a whole bunch of attempts at it. So it's basically like the number of times that your team finishes in the playoff. It's not like you have a 50% chance of making it. It's in 50% of all of the situations that I mapped out, your team makes it, right? It's be careful to interpret it that way, right? It's not like 50%. It's 50% of the time you make it to the playoffs, not you have a 50% chance of making it to the playoffs. So where were we?
Unless your simulations would have to be perfect to make that as well.
Yes, and they're
did you agree that the humans were going to beat the undead, or did you want to pick?
I picked the humans. Authorks and Wood United. Well, we just saw Doof get elfed once. Do you think we can get elfed again?
He does have his tackle mighty blow piling on piece.
Does he have sure hands?
And he could just buy a thrower if he doesn't.
He's got his gross thrower, yeah.
GF or Luke rather.
Yep.
This is Wood United.
Do we think Doof will get elfed a second time?
I don't know. I kind of want to give Doof a little shout out.
I'm sorry, Doof. I think you're gonna get elfed again. But he does have his tackle piling on mighty blow, and he's got a tackle wrestle, and those will both do some good work, I think. Honestly, they should be able to do some. If the same thing happens this match where you remove some elves but they're only KOs and they come back, you'll probably lose. But if that mighty blow piling on tackle guy can get a couple injuries instead, then suddenly you're looking a lot better to go for it. I think I feel a lot better. I keep clicking the wrong orc team. I feel a lot better about this game for you than I did the last elf game. Certainly, I think you have a better shot at this one than you did the last one. I would agree with that statement completely.
Too late. You already picked the Welfs. Next up,
I mean,
Hiroto.
I did, but I'm saying that I feel better for Doof in this one than I did in the last one.
Yeah, I agree. Like, it was just going to be a tough matchup anytime without any tackle.
He has tackle now.
Exactly. So that's why I like it better this time. Shwing.
Fair enough. Sons of Sam and the Norse Unleashed. So we've got we've got Lord Teton's orcs. Slightly more mighty blow available, which could be bad against the Norse.
Norse are extremely weak to mighty blow spam, And all that tackle is doing absolutely nothing against
The one dodge.
Lord Teton's double-less. No, he has 0.
Yeah.
Dodge.
Oh, I was looking at the Norse team that has 1 dodge.
Well, he's got 1 tackle and the Angel of Death, so...
1 dodge, 1 tackle. Evens out. 50-50.
Yep. I'm going to give this to Lord Teton.
Yeah, I think I'm going to, too. Lord Teton has more guard. He's got more Mighty Blow. He's got more strength. He'll be able to play the punchy control game better than the Norse will. The Norse will be able to play the running game better with the agi and the plus movements, but I think they're just going to lose players they're not going to have a bench because they're down players. So I think the Orcs will be able to get an advantage there and pull it a win.
Yep. What kind of inducements are we looking at? 1640 for the Orcs. They have more than 11. And Hiroto has 1350 plus 8, 9 plus 2 players. And Norse linemen are 60k, 70?
50k.
No, 50K. Super cheap. 1450, so he's got 200, just shy of 200k. He can't spend any bank because he's still trying to rebuild. In fact, he might buy a player before this. He still needs another Ulf after all.
He'll be 90k down to Lord Teton then, so right, he basically can get 2 babes might be a good option, or a bribe.
Yeah, I like 2 babes, or a bribe, probably 2 babes.
He does have a dirty player, but honestly, I think he loses this game by going down players. So I think the 2 babes, or even some sort of star player or a bench might be
even
good.
A spare Apo. I wouldn't hate a spare Apo.
Yeah, a babe, a Merc lineman, a spare Apo, all good options, I think there.
Yep. Then we have Scaled Measure and Rotting Snatches.
Yep, so we got Rotting Snatches, the Tommy Two Talls, Nurgle, who are currently tied for first. They're doing pretty well. There is the Claw Mighty Blow block Strength Nurgle Warrior, and we have a Claw Mighty Blow piling on block Pestigore.
The All Apple Pies is no longer blockless.
Yep.
Minus 50 points.
There's only 1 guard for these Nurgle, because 2 of those Nurgle Warriors have had to been replaced. There's 2 guard, because there's the Beast as well.
Oh, right, I was looking at the Rotterhood.
But those are 2 really good players at killing Sauruses.
Versus Scaled Measures, which are at 1710. Oh, but they have 230k. They're going to pick up a Saurus. They only have... Remember, they have all 6. They might get a skink because they're gonna get one spare skink. But I guess in this game you don't really want to pick up a skink beforehand.
So they're at 1690, and then plus the spare skink puts them at 1750, right? Skinks are 60.
Yeah, he's got 230k. I'd actually buy a stadium enhancement.
Well, yeah. So I dropped it down. So if you remove, he's what 80k above. So he's then plus the skink is 20k down from where he is currently, right? So it's 1750.
No, skinks are 60.
Yeah, but he's 80 above where he should be.
Oh, yeah, sorry. He's 80 above.
So if he drops that money, then he'll gain 60. So it's the same as going down 20, which puts him at 1750, which is 60k against Galactic, against the Nurgle, which is not a lot. I mean, that's a babe.
Galactic, it's against Tommy.
Or, sorry, yeah.
So it's 100. It's 110. You might scum a wizard. I don't hate scumming a wizard.
110?
The Agi 5
Isn't it just 100? Or no, yeah, it's 110. Sorry, you're right. Yeah.
I don't hate a wizard.
No, I wouldn't hate a wizard too. The downside is there's the Agi 4 Pestigore, who is pretty capable of recovering if you knock him over.
The Agi 5 skink was just going to recover.
That's true. And the Agi 4 guy is niggled, so a lightning bolt on him actually has a fairly significant chance of making him sad. It's a good question. I think the Nurgle have they have really good lizard killers in the 2 Mighty Blow Claw guys. If those work on Saurus, it's going to be rough for the scaled measures, certainly.
But the scaled measure does have the pitch control game.
They've got more guard,
yeah. They have 3 strength 5 police pieces to the Nurgle's 2.
Yep, it's really going to
depend on early removals.
It really is. The Nurgle win this by removing 2 Saurus on by turn 2. And if they don't, they are probably going to get out pitch controlled as long as not Nihilak plays this well, and I assume he will. He's a pretty good lizard coach.
Yep, though I think I'm still going to give it to the Nurgle.
Man, this is my experience as a Nurgle player makes me want to give it to the lizards because I hate playing lizards and they always beat me. because I can't get the removals I need. But he's not me. But my heart, slash my playoff prediction tells me to predict the Nurgle. So I gotta back my playoff prediction. I gotta go with Nurgle. But if it was me playing it, I think the Lizards would win. Rotterhood and Werewolf of Wall Street. So we've got the other Nurgle team versus Cunning Foxpup. So we've got, the Claw, Mighty Blow, Tackle, Dauntless guy, who's also going to be... He did work against Saurus. He can also do work against Nurgle Warriors, I imagine.
Gotta get through that...
the foul appearance. So it's 2+ rolls, not just one, because you get the foul appearance, then the Dauntless.
And then the foul appearance, and then the Dauntless again.
Yep. So we've got two Mighty Blow, Claw, Block dudes for Nurgle. 1, 2, 3 guard, 4 guard. For a good ball carrying Pestigore, even though he is armor 7.
4 guard for each side, in fact. I like Galactic here.
So do I think.
Nurgle, the Nurgle is a tough matchup for Necro because of all the regen. Like, it's harder for them to get the removals that matter. And Nurgle can punch back just as hard. And their pieces have more pitch presence than yours do.
Yeah, and the claw pieces on the Necro are frenzy, and if they're hitting the Nurgle Warriors, like you said, they've got to make 2 foul appearances, which, if you block 3 Nurgle Warriors, you're not going to get you're going to fail a foul appearance one of those times, essentially. And then your Agi 2 Werewolf is stuck up against a Nurgle Warrior, probably one with Mighty Blow.
I mean, the odds of you making two Dauntless and 2 foul appearance, like 1 single frenzy block against a Nurgle Warrior, the odds of you succeeding is 48%. So most of the time you will fail something in there.
Yeah, it's hard again because it's a weird probability tree. Like, you only do the second set of blocks if the first one doesn't work, and you have to get a knockdown for that.
Yeah, it doesn't actually, that's not the odds of you having to it's more complicated.
It's annoying to calculate, but I think that the Nurgle Warriors are going to be a lot more annoying to deal with than the Saurus were, and then they can hit you back just as hard. So I want to give it to the Nurgle. Although Cunning Foxpup should be able to get Cheney, I think, which is pretty serious because it's another claw piece.
Yeah, you get Cheney here. He's got a really deep bench. $18.10 versus... No, you can't get Cheney. He's only getting 130.
Oh, no?
No.
Okay. So he could fire zombies.
He could fire some zombies and then try to get Cheney, but that's kind of going all in.
And I don't think you need to at this point. You're fairly low on the table. It's like winning is not critical at this point because you're probably not going to make playoffs.
Development more is, and it turns out Cheney kind of steals development.
Yep. So I will go with the Nurgle, and I accidentally backed out of the division, so I need to go back into it. And there's a million Swiss divisions now, so it's hard to find the right one.
Just go to the right instead of the left.
Then we have the last one, Archangel's Will and Yeti to Conquer. So this is actually a good match because these are 2 top 4 teams, all of them which have really good shots at going to the playoffs. Which is
why we're gonna be casting it on Saturday at 5 p.m. EDT.
Boom! Come check that out. I'll
probably. I mean, I'm not 100% committed to that yet because sometimes things come up that I need to do, and I can't commit to weekends. But
I can do it though.
I'm gonna try.
So
I know you'll be there, which is why I got them to ask you first. So that is a normal. He does already have a sidestep War Dancer that has piling on even. That you don't really want to be piling on versus Norse because anywhere that's even remotely unsafe because the Norse are definitely going to foul you.
Oh, for sure. This is a serious match that matters a lot for the top of the table for this. All these teams are really close, and 2 of them are about to play each other, so that's going to put a big gap in between them. And it is also... I imagine this is going to be a bloody game with Armor 7 versus Armor 7, Mighty Blow on both sides. This is a serious match with serious playoff implications. You should come watch it.
I was going to say the Wood Elves have as much piling on as the Norse, but that's not true because Alexander the Greater now has piling on. And an Ulf has a level bending, so we're probably going to see block there. So
there's
good stuff.
Oh, this is hard. There's
no guard. There's 1 guard rather on the side of the North, so they can't really make their cages very safe.
There's 1 on the side of the Wood Elves.
He is going to be carrying on the Strength 4 Niggled Thrower, which does help him a bit,
Yeah,
but
the
he is
sure
going to be
hands.
getting hit by block and tackle rather. So in a cage, he's pretty safe because that would be a red die, and with sure hands, the strip ball is not going to do anything.
If that's a normal levels for this Ulf, this is a 2000 TV Norse team.
Yep. Which means that the Wood Elves get a wizard, which they are super happy with.
Do they go down 40, so they'll be at 1810 plus normal, so they're 1830, right?
And they get a wizard.
So that's what 1830 against 2. Yeah, they got 170. So that's a wizard. Which the Wood Elves are really happy about. Yeah, I was going to say Norse until I thought about the wizard. The wizard could make a pretty serious difference.
I mean, a lightning bolt on a niggled Agi 4-piece. Yikes.
I think I want to go with Norse because they have a bunch of tackle. They've got tackle and Mighty Blow players, and they've got a bunch of dirty player. Like if the Wood Elves can lightning bolt and they can cage dive pretty easily, but if that ever fails, that War Dancer is never standing up again because he's just going to get booted to the face every turn, forever. And I think that could be bad for the Wood Elves. So I think that I want to give this to Norse, but this is going to be a good match, and I'm excited to watch it on Saturday.
Final answer?
Yeah.
Cool. I, of course, pick Welfs because what's the point of us casting a game if it's not contentious?
Fair enough. This is pretty serious, yeah. I mean, the Norse have a big bench, so they're going to be okay against the Wood Elf Mighty Blows, I think, because they'll be able to, as long as they don't lose anybody serious. Then we've got the Thrower, the Berserker, the Berserker who has Mighty Blow tackle. There's a couple tackle linemen. There's a Mighty Blow. There's going to be a lot of Mighty Blow tackle frenzy block hits, which I think should be able to do some serious work against the Wood Elves. And they have the sure hands to defend a little bit against the strip ball. It's not perfect because no guard, but it does help. It does help. Yeah, exactly. It's like David versus Goliath, but I don't know which team is which. That seems about appropriate to me. Well, those are our predictions for this week.
They are indeed.
Let's bring up the title screen. That is going to be a game. I highly suggest you come check that out on Saturday at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time or Eastern Daylight Time or whatever the hell it is, which is
EDT.
which is 9 p.m. EST or sorry 9 p.m. UTC on Saturday. So just you come check that out. We are getting close. Only a couple weeks left. Division 7 is much tighter than Division 6 currently, so I'm excited to see how those divisions play off or play out in terms of playoffs. And once we get a bit closer, we can start looking at which teams. Once we have confirmed mathematical teams, I guess we can look at who they're likely to play in the first round of the playoffs. That might be a fun thing we can take a look at in the later weeks.
I'm currently, if I win our division rather, we get 4th place in Division 1 G-Man. I get a rematch against the person who armor busted Dr. Up.
I mean, for the divs that we're reviewing, 7 and 6, who they'll be playing.
I don't care.
Both Friday and Saturday we'll have streams. Friday, I've got my Clan League game, Dwarfs versus Goblins. And then immediately following that, I've got my 80 English game where we'll be playing Orcs versus Pro Elves. So there'll be some Blood Bowl stream action on Friday. And then, obviously, like we said, the stream on Saturday for Ironmaster and Archangel's game will be pretty exciting. So please feel free to come check out those. And, of course, we'll be back next Wednesday with Week 11. Thanks for hanging out, guys. Really appreciate it. Appreciate the support. I have a lot of fun doing these. It's pretty cool to see the feedback and stuff. We like that you like it.
We want you to want us.
Yeah. Agreed. So until Friday and next Saturday and next Wednesday, I've been Steakmittens.
And I'm Shadorra.
And we'll see you next time.